Hello, my name is Sienna Kling, and instead of retelling one of the narratives I was previously going to retell, I will now be retelling a narrative called A Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin. So, this story starts off with a girl named Louise Mallard, and she's sitting in her room and when her sister comes to knock on the door. And her sister comes and tells her the news that her husband, Louise's husband, has been killed in a car accident or a railroad accident. And Louise instantly starts weeping and crying, so it is similar to what the reader thinks that she would be doing. And she is just like crying by the window, and she's leaning on the window, and she looks out the window and she sees all these beautiful things in nature, like the birds singing and the sky clearing after the rain, and a beautiful blue sky, and it just gives her so much hope and joy, which is not what you'd think she would be observing when she just found out her husband was killed. So after she sees all the beautiful colors and the colors of spring outside and stuff, she starts to say things under her breath, like about freedom and about being free, and she says like free, 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 and she says body and soul free. And this confuses the reader because she just lost her husband, and she is actually really like rejoicing that she just lost her husband. So that shocks the reader, and it's ironic. And then there's other lines in the story that say things like she no longer had her husband's will imposed upon her own will, and things like I think that might be it, but just that he basically just implying that he imposed his will upon her will so much that he trapped her and limited her freedoms. And it also says that she breathed a quick prayer that life would be long, but it was just the day before that she had prayed that life would be short because it was miserable living under her husband's reign, pretty much. So her sister comes back to knock on the door, and Louise turns, and it's ironic because her sister says, "Come out, you're going to make yourself ill." And Louise actually dies at the end of the story, so it's ironic. She's not just ill. But she comes out of her bedroom and she walks down the stairs, and coming in the door at that moment is her husband, who she thought was dead. And instantly, Louise falls dead on the ground after seeing her husband. And the doctors, after finding out her husband was still alive, so the doctors diagnosed it basically by saying it was a heart disease from the joy that kills, but really what the reader knows is that she died from sadness, overwhelming sadness, because her husband was still alive, and he had put so much restraint on her life, but now that was all gone. So that is the story of an hour. She died because her husband she thought he was dead, and she was happy about that, and then he was really alive, so she was so sad about that she died. So that was A Story of an Hour, retold by Kate Chopin.